All right, I'm the live. All right, we're live. I'm the flat rate master. How's everybody doing tonight? So obviously, as you can see from the title, we're going to talk about some of the stuff Milwaukee's got coming out. Obviously, I did not go to the pipeline event. They scaled back a lot on who they invited. For instance, Hummel Mechanic didn't get an invite. He went after asking to go, and they booked him in, but they scaled back a lot. And honestly, there wasn't a ton of automotive stuff there. So, Chris, what's going on? So we're going to talk about some of the new stuff coming from Milwaukee. I don't have any of this stuff. I've not touched any of this stuff. I don't have any of it in hand yet. But we'll talk about what they got going on. Eric, what's up? Dara, what's up? So, let a few more people get in here. Oh, well, there we go. All right, so we're going to look at first is what we're going to look at is the stuff they send out to the media. I'm media in case you don't know, but this is what they send out. It's a pipeline event media guide. It gives launch dates for products like the tap and die kit are coming out, well, sometime now. The new half-inch Impact is coming out in October of this year. Pin Detent is coming out December 23rd or December 2023. Val, what's going on? Silky, what's going on? Which doesn't apply to us because nobody in the automotive industry is going to buy it with a pin detent. But anyway, the interesting one of the interesting ones of the event is the Milwaukee extended reach inside box ratchet and sockets. That looks really interesting. Obviously, I haven't touched it, so that's coming out in September. The M12 borescope looks really nice. So there'll be a comparison of a couple different companies' products from borescopes, but that's coming out in November. Torx and hex bits, they're coming out with the flat side stuff. That's January, so that'll be a little bit. The long reach stuff is really cool. Renegade, what's going on? Mike, the mobile mechanic, what's going on? Hose clamp pliers, pretty cool. I don't know how much I'll like that design. Snap ring pliers, obviously they're doing combination wrenches and pack out sets and stuff like that. The other one I'm really interested in is these flare nut wrenches. If these are as good as their regular wrenches, I'm really excited for that, because if they're as good as those wrenches, they're going to be a great option other than Snap-on for flare nut wrenches. So as you can see, you got the nice little beauty shot here. Yes, Renegade, I appreciate that. Hit that like button. This is just a media package. We're just going to kind of go through it, and then we'll get into some other topics. But as you can see, looks good anyway. And they're based in Wisconsin, so they got that rust. So we'll see how these are in real world, but I'm excited about these wrenches because, I haven't found a really good option for, I haven't found a really good option for flare nut wrenches other than Snap-on. So hopefully they spec them as good as their regular wrenches, and I can recommend them because the Snap-on set is stupid expensive. Now, of course, they've got the tap and die set coming out, and I like that. I don't think, this is kind of all the promo stuff. But let's see. Let's close that. See if they've got a good shot anywhere. All right. See how they've got the laser etching on the tap and dies? That's something I'm really excited about, because we all know tap and dies are some of the worst things as far as finding the right size. There's, multiple sizes of the same. Like this is the standard kit, but you go to reach for a, tap in a metric size, and there's 3 different, thread depths, and you got to try to figure out and read it and all that. So that's something really cool. But, they've got hopefully some good products coming, because they look cool. I mean, testing is what matters, not obviously how cool they look. Warranty on the tap and die is lifetime. They've got an online thing set up for warranting any of their hand tools. It's pretty much no hassle from what I've heard. I haven't, I have a media rep, so I can't really warranty stuff in the normal way. Not that the only thing I've had broken, speaking of warranty, is we broke tearing up a wall at the old shop, a Milwaukee pry bar, and it was not exactly being used properly. I was actually supposed to send it back to them because they wanted to analyze the failure, but I never did it. So, and it's been several years. Brian, what's going on? How to Automotive? Yeah, the feel. I still have these here. The feel of these wrenches is great. This is obviously back to the main camera. This is stuff that sits in my office. Milwaukee flex head wrenches. If they're long as they're like this feel, they feel really good in the hand, and they're really comfortable wrenches. As far as these wrenches, I've been really happy with the Milwaukee form factor, and obviously the wrenches are really good. But yeah. So as long as in the real world they work well, they should be excellent. Go back to this. Obviously they've got them in pack out sets and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, see, I'm really excited about that. Having all the sizes easily seen, because that's one of the hardest things about tap and die sets. Of course, How to Automotive is actually there. He got the invite, not me. So, of course, they got the big Chongus, the new high torque, which I always love when they do these kind of shots for these. This style, that is the flex head, is you turn it over to change directions. Samuel, yeah, that nobody does, as far as I know, reversible on this style. Don't quote me on that, but it would make this part of it really bulky to put a reverse switch in here, so nobody does it. But yeah. Didn't have anything to test them on, huh? They didn't have any of that Wisconsin rust, Brian. This looks pretty cool. High torque's always a good thing to have. Not a lot of shots on this one. But anyway, moving on. This is, I think, the star of the show. This is really cool. I really hope they're working on equipment here because it's a 9/16. Hopefully. Okay, Renegade's Garage says Blue Point reversible heads. Hopefully that's a truck and not a car. Cool, Brian. You know, I requested a battery, so we'll see how they do. But Daniel, yes, yeah, the launch tool I reviewed recently does have the parking brake retract stuff. Yeah, you can do parking brakes for pretty much every make and model that allows it done through the scan tool. But yeah, I mean, this thing is looking pretty dang cool. I don't know how often you'll use it. I think this is kind of a niche tool. But I can see where it would come in really, really, really handy. Like this is a great example right here. The trigger's pointed the wrong direction, and he's going in that way, which is really cool. You don't have to worry about hitting anything, so that's really cool. Doing stuff like this. Pass through is nice, especially for like shocks. Poppy, just because it has a fan clutch doesn't mean it's a a semi, but this is obviously a semi. Obviously the pass through is really cool. We'll have to see how well it works in the real world. I just replaced the lower door hinge on assembly on my truck, and it was very hard to get to. Had to go to Harbor Freight twice and buy one of those ratcheting wrenches. Renegade, yes, it's a pass through. So you got a hole in there to pass a bolt through. I don't know how durable these are. Obviously, got to be tested. But yes, they are. Some of them are pass through, I guess. Close. So yeah, see how the head has an open hex. Cool, Brian. Nice. Get to test that pretty soon. Yeah, I guess there's the truck. Or a forklift or something, anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think that looks really cool. That I can see coming in really handy if you get this stuck. Because I can see that being a whole lot easier to change directions. Daniel BC, have you ever replaced a 3/6 timing chain on GM? Was it hard? GoTech has a really good video on setting the timing on the 3/6s because there's two positions you have to put it in. You do one timing chain first, then the second one, so you have to rotate the engine over. Yeah, Brian, you can also put a 3/8 or half-inch adapter on the inside as well. But is it hard? No. Some vehicles, if you do it in the car, it's harder. but it's really not a hard timing chain to do at all. Yeah, Poppy, that's what I was saying. That it looks useful, but it's going to be a niche product. It's going to be one of those where you're very happy you have it. The rest of the time, it's just going to sit in your toolbox and collect dust. But when you get a situation, that's not a good example. That's a somewhat good example where you have limited clearance. That could be really good. Samuel, I prefer the GoTech one. I think it's a much better production than Melling or Cloy's because I've watched both of those. The GoTech is way better. Mike the mobile mechanic. Pretty soon Milwaukee have its own tool truck. Of course, these look really interesting. These X-frame backwards pliers. These look like they might be really useful in general. Hopefully they're stiffer than. I was kind of really disappointed in my 90-degree bent needle nose from KNIPEX. They were kind of really flimsy. Yes, they're sold, Poppy, as a kit. I don't think they sell anything separately. I believe it comes as a kit like that. Or a kit like that. So you'd get the drive adapters, and then you get all the pass-through sockets or sockets up to 21 millimeters. I'm not sure exactly where the pass-through sizes stop or whatever. Zach, Chloe's, I've told this story before, but I didn't do it. Another tech at the shop did a transit connect that a spark plug broke off in the head. The vehicle had 30,000 miles. Again, I had no involvement in this vehicle. It was in the lower shop, and they decided to do a new timing chain kit, everything, because they had to pull the head because it had to be machined out. They had to put a time cert in it for whatever reason. That transit connect spark plug was completely seized in the head. But anyway, they pulled the head. Machine shop got it out, put an insert in it. They did Cloy's. It got, I think, 2,000 miles, and time and chain link broke. Obviously, we couldn't test because of all the bent valves and everything, but it didn't appear to be any of the cams seized in the head or anything like that. It seemed like the timing chain broke. So that's why I'm very adamant about OEM timing chains. But yeah, Zach, they don't last well. Yeah, that was kind of my point. Is it's really it'll come in handy in a lot of different places. Daniel BC, here's a tricky question on GM's passkey system in the early 2000s. What fail on those? The passkey module. It's not really a module, but it's the actual thing that communicates to say it's good. There's plenty of bypasses for them putting a resistor in, but yeah, that's what fails. Country of origin, Samuel, I do not know. Not exactly sure on. No, it was Zach. I believe it was newer than 2013. It only had 30,000 miles on it, but it was the older style Transit Connect. So I think it was the last year for those before they went to the new engines. But don't quote me on that. Yeah, how to. They do offer individual sizes, for the replacements or whatever. Only Ford have spark plug C's with them little miles. Yeah, I don't know what it was about that vehicle. I don't even remember why they were doing spark plugs. All I know is it wasn't my car. It wasn't even in my realm of responsibilities. Leon, what's going on? Appreciate the super chat. My first gen, Zach goes, my first gen, my fuel is a first gen, and my God, the heads on them are massive. Yeah, they are. How you been? How you been, Leon? And then, of course, they've got the bent ones, or the ones for hose clamps. Nope. Did I not? Oh, move over. Of course, they've got the ones for hoses, which I think is really cool. So, should hopefully get a set of these in to test as well. I'm really interested in Leon. I'm doing great. Living the dream. Good seeing you, Brian. Take it easy. Have fun filming. But yeah, I mean these are look really good. Like I said, the main concern for me is how stiff and rigid they are. So once I get a set in, I'll be testing those. But they look good. I got to kind of rant a little bit about product shots. The guy's face out of focus kind of bugs me. Like, make him pull his head back a little bit and get him out of the shot, but whatever. Daniel BC, have you ever had a customer that spent a lot of money on an old vehicle? Abso-freaking-lutely. So I'll tell this story. We had a Thunderbird, the convertible top Jaguar POS Thunderbird, and we had a customer. She lived near me, and she made buttloads of money, and it had, I think, 300,000 miles on it. She'd done timing chains on it, oil leak repairs, every coolant leak on the planet. She had a fuel tank leak that actually never got fixed for real, because we could not get a fuel tank, not even a used one. We had to, Mr. Milwaukee. You know it, Leon. Budget Leggett Garage, by the way. And for those in the audience who don't know, he's a YouTuber. He's actually a mod on this channel. Budget means mess it up, in a very less kind word, and run. But anyway, I mean, we had to do a ghetto repair on the fuel tank to get it to stop leaking. The over-the-counter stuff. It worked. But she was willing to keep spending money on that car, to the fact she wanted to buy a parts car, put it in the back of our lot so we could salvage parts off of it. Something major else went wrong with it, and she finally got rid of it and bought a Lotus. If that tells you how much money that chick had. but I mean, it had 300,000 miles on it, and she just kept putting money in it, kept putting money in it. It was crazy. Jay Sosa, I replaced cooler lines on a 15 F-150 today. When I put it back together, it wouldn't go into gear. Got to figure out what's wrong. Good luck, man. That's. Did you disconnect the 15? I mean, the transmission plug wasn't plugged back in. It wouldn't start. So I don't know. Hopefully you just drained a lot of fluid out of it and it's not picking up the fluid or something. Renegade, take it easy. Zach, ghetto repairs are the best. JB welded the radiator on my 98 Escort last week. But Leon, yeah, I always get a guaranteed 10 steps on 10 seconds. Or, yeah. Ooh, zoomed in there a little bit. Let's go full screen. Yeah, Justin Hayward, coolant in the connector possible, or transmission fluid. Yeah, I mean, I would check the gang connector to go into the transmission. Daniel, 2 questions. Have you ever had a customer that knew every common problem with their vehicle? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've had customers tell me what's wrong with their car because they'd spent days researching it online or just were rabid fans of, old Forerunners or, Hondas or Subarus. I've had a bunch of customers like that where they just, but yeah, no, I mean, lots of customers that know more about the car than I do, which is always tough to explain when they're wrong. Yeah, that's great that you think that's what's wrong with the car, but my testing showed that's what's wrong with the car. Second, what type of customers would you meet to work on your vehicle? I'm assuming you meant on their vehicles. I prefer to stay in the back and not meet customers. I'm kind of more, I don't want to sit there and BS. If I wanted to BS with customers, I'd be a service advisor. Zach, the one I'm most excited about is honestly the flare nut wrenches. The battery looks really cool. They've got a new battery system coming out. Not battery system, but new battery that's updated. I'm really, really hoping these flare nut wrenches are really good and I can recommend them. Because if there's a good, really good alternative to Snap-on, awesome. If they suck, they suck. But that's the one I'm really looking forward to. They also have gotta go all the way up. They've also got this new battery coming out that's supposed to have the power of the XE12 and the size of a 5.0, so that's really cool. Best blackout videos. How long do you think it would take to drop drivetrains out of 2 02 Lexus RX 300s and swap? Do you have a powertrain table? Reasonably, my guess for both of them would probably be about 6 to 8 hours. Um, I think, not quite sure, but some of the Lexus you have to pull out a harness from the dash that complicates it a lot more. But physically, probably about 3 to 4 hours you'd have it out. Samuel, what's your overall opinion on Milwaukee hand tools as a whole? I can only speak to the automotive tools. I don't have any experience with the pipe wrenches, the tape measures, the construction tools. I mean, I have all that stuff. I've had it for years. I haven't bought any, and they don't send that kind of stuff out to automotive channels, and I haven't bought any of that because I haven't needed it. Like the only Milwaukee tool in recent memory that I bought was a weed eater from Milwaukee. Hard to do a video on a weed eater on a automotive channel and asking them for a tool, so I just went up to Home Depot and got it. But we needed to do some stuff, so I got a weed eater. But overall, the automotive stuff is really good quality. I would put it up against any of the gear wrench, Sunex, etc. I would put it right up against all of the other non-tool truck tools, and like probably better than most of the second line of the tool trucks, like ADV on the Matco truck, the Blue Power on Cornwell, the Blue Point stuff on Snap-on. I would put it right in par with those, if not a little better. Zach, is this a service info group chat now? What's a Torx spec axle on a 2007 Impala? That would be 3 Ugga Duggas. Justin Hayward, I've had no issues with the gear wrench set for flare nuts. I've used one gear wrench. It was another Tex. It spread on me, so I grabbed my Snap-on. It had already rounded it slightly. My Snap-on got it off where the gear wrench wouldn't. So that was several years ago. There's a reason I say how good the Snap-ons are. I've never had them spread. I've wrenched on them so hard that my hand hurt, and they're really nice wrenches, and haven't rounded anything. It didn't come loose, but I didn't round it. Yeah, blackout. Yeah, you got to pull the harness behind the glove box. Yeah, I mean, that complicates it. It doesn't take that long. It's just a royal pain in the butt. My dad worked construction for 30 years. He's the one who called me a dumbass when I suggested buying DeWalt. Every tool they make for the most part rocks. I just recently threw away a DeWalt Sawzall that I've literally owned longer than I've been married. But it started letting out some magic smoke, if you know what I mean. And that was a lot. The other Milwaukee tool I actually spent my own money on was the Sawzall replacement, the M18 Sawzall, because the DeWalt finally died. This battery will be perfect for the weed eater. I mean, The Weed Eater actually came with a XE 6.0. I have a Milwaukee charger right there. um, um, what is that wrench called that is very narrow with a ratcheting wrench? I'm not sure, Daniel. I'm not sure your question on that one. Have you ever rejected a customer or because their car was so filthy inside? I've had to tell customers to go clean their cars out. I had one customer that sweet old lady, but she chain smoked and her car was full of trash. And in order to get to the or to the fuse box that was in her passenger side floorboard would have meant pulling out a literal pile of junk. So I had to tell her to go clean her car out. Samuel, a quarter turn past snug and a quarter turn before braking. Justin Hayward, I like the Crowfoot Flare Sun X set. It's metal impact, chrome moly. Okay. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I have not used the Sun X Crowfoot wrenches. So I don't know. Best blackout videos. I wish somebody made a 3D printed button for the Milwaukee ratchet. Paddle sucks. It wouldn't be hard to modify. I'm surprised no one has approached that. I mean, I'm sure if you look on Thingiverse, it's probably there. I actually prefer, I know this is controversial, I prefer the paddle. I actually don't like the button. I don't like, I've never liked the snap-on. I've never liked the snap-on button. Because on this, I can always get to that paddle and push it in. Whereas with the snap-on button, sometimes you just can't get to it. Let's go back full screen. Yeah, see, I mean, it's controversial. I mean, a lot of people prefer the button. I actually don't. I don't. Nothing. It's not a Milwaukee thing. Don't think this is a me fanboying on Milwaukee. So let's see. Was it Blue Point? To give an example, this tool right here, similar, these little stubby air ratchets back in the day. I had a 1/4 inch and a 3/8. Used them for almost everything. Literally everything I could get those in and break it loose by hand and run it off with these. Those paddles hung off my Craftsman roll cart. So I've been a paddle user for a very, very long time. MT, I wish they made a butterfly 1/4 inch impact. Wow. I'm not even sure the audience would know what the heck you're talking about. So this is what he's talking about. This is a butterfly impact. Basically a 3/8 impact without the handle and that little butterfly valve on the top. I never really used butterfly impacts. I had one. I just grabbed my Snap-on 3/8 impact 99% of the time, but a lot of people love those butterflies. But yeah, a lot of the people in the audience aren't even going to know what that is. Houston, hello from the UK. Hello from Georgia. Best blackout videos. Also, the right angle die grinder is nice, but I use it for cleaning caliper brackets, and the wheels that are corroded, and the head is so fat that it won't clean the inside beads. You got to use the 3/8. I mean, it's comparable to a higher horsepower angle die grinder. Not the small little ones. That's what the size you're thinking of. It's the size they are. So, pure mayhem. Yeah, I work. I've got a job. I don't talk about it because I don't need drama at my new workplace. You know what I mean? But it's not adjusted. How good? Daniel BC, how good is the Pittsburgh Professional 1/4" 3/8 drive? I don't know on Pittsburgh stuff. The Icon stuff is good if what you're asking. The Pittsburgh Professional I thought was discontinued, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, MT. I knew a lot of guys back in the day that used the heck out of them. I mean, just that was their go-to. Samuel grew up using my dad's butterfly impact. Threatened to buy one every now and then, but never do. Yeah, I'd rather have the pistol grip. I mean, for 90% of what I do, it's easier with a pistol grip. I mean, like air tools are limited for me use anyway. It's air hammer, air chuck, and air saw and stuff like that. It's very rare I pick up air tools. It's just an impact. It's just a 3/8 or 1/4" impact. That's all it is. It's literally a impact without the handle on it with a valve that goes one way or the other. The one advantage to it is it's really easy to switch directions because you push on one side to go forward, tighten, push the other way to take it off. No, I mean, I don't know how. Best blackout. I don't know how much they sell. I mean, there's somewhat of a market because they still make them, but I don't know if they're that high of a volume. I don't know. I don't. Oh, you talking about the ratcheting wrenches, Daniel? Oh, all right. So we got that. Oh, go back. This is another interesting thing they're coming out with. Is the circlip tools. I don't know how good they are or anything. I haven't held them. I asked for a set of them. I mean, put them in the hand of a transmission builder, because that's obviously where they went to. I mean, they look cool. They look like they got a quick change direction plate on them, which is cool. A little bulky, though. Justin Hayward, yeah. A lot of small engine repair shops used them. I mean, I've seen a lot of, that's where I've seen the most of them is, lawnmower, lawn equipment repair shops, and, motorcycle and ATV kind of places. VTech chair, yeah, I've seen the patent paperwork on it. Don't have any other information on it. That was a patent, public record, so it's available. How well they've developed it, I don't know on the electric impact hammer, whatever you want to call it. Best blackout videos. I have a set of Cenex raised panel wrenches in my box. I put together 6 to 50 millimeter jumbo, fullest set I've ever seen. Yeah, that's a pretty full set. I don't know what you'd be using 50 millimeter for, but hey, cool. As someone that has wrenches up to 2 7/8, I think. That's how long I haven't seen them. Hydraulic lines, stuff like that. Yeah, no, I mean the snap ring pliers looks like you turn that and they go from inside to outside, so that's pretty cool. Best blackout video. Milwaukee has filed a patent for a electric impact hammer. That's what VTech Chair was talking about. They have filed a patent for it. How far in the development? I don't know. They don't talk to us about that kind of stuff. But, they have filed a patent for it. So how far in the development? When we'll see it, I don't know. Daniel, get you one of these topside creepers. Best money you will spend. He talked about having vertical challenges. Get you one of these. As long as you don't have the vehicle all the way down with the wheels off, you can put it under almost any vehicle. You can adjust it many heights, and you can just sit on there and work to your heart's content. You will have a little stomach and chest pains just from laying on your chest like that, but yeah, get you a topside creeper. There's other kind of variations of it, but not do that one. I mean, there's various options for different companies, but yeah, get you one of those. Yes. MT, yes, I did see the new Stork style pliers. Talked about them earlier. Oz, what's going on? Yeah, that's best blackout. That's what I was talking about. The topside creeper. But yeah, no, I've talked about them earlier. There they are for the hoses and stuff like that. I'm really excited to get those in and test them out. How you been doing, Oz? But yeah, no, I mean, checking all the everything good, internet good. AWC Tech. Look at him. I'm looking for him. Sorry. I mean, they could be literally be rebranded Lang, considering Harbor Freight is not a tool manufacturer. You know, it's it's just like Matco. Um, all they do is buy tools from other companies and have them put their name on it and slap it in the store. So they could be Lang, or they could be copies of Lang. I mean, the Chinese will copy anything to whatever quality standard you want, and they will do however you want to do it. Oz, yeah, it's hot out there. My wife was in Texas for 3 weeks because of her dad, and she was just dying out there. I mean, here in Georgia, we just get nightly rains, like torrential downpours lately. And but yeah, she was roasting in San Antonio. So Daniel, will the shop be help paying for this tool? Ask him. um, if you buy it yourself, it's your tool. You can bring it in there and take it home. Some shops will buy it. Some shops already have them, but it's up to the individual shop whether or not they decide they want to buy it. So, um, I personally consider it a shop tool, but you know, your mileage will vary. Best blackout videos. Always thought as a kid DeWalt was US made. LO, now you find out everything is made in Taiwan. That it's ridiculous how all tool brands cheap out and rebrand, but some Chinese made tools are good. DeWalt and Milwaukee, you know, calling it how it is, they have manufacturing in Taiwan. They have manufacturing in China. It's their plants. They own the plants in China. So they're made by their corporation, not made by somebody else. Now, like Milwaukee's battery cells are made by probably Samsung. I don't know where DeWalt's are, but the cells themselves are made by a different company, manufacturer of lithium ion cells, but the tools themselves are made by the manufacturer in their facilities. They're not rebranded or anything like that. Like Matco's Impacts are rebranded. not, I mean, the Matco stuff is an Australian company. They're already branded by somebody else. Matco just has the exclusive on the United States distribution, but they're an Australian product. Took out four wires, fixed all issues. Okay. Sergio, what's going on? JWC Tech, they also have Icon Mayhew 58-inch pry bar now and some Icon angle wrenches that look pretty nice. Yeah, no, I've been pretty impressed with the Icon line. I'm not going to lie. You know, I actually just filmed a video the other day about a modified tool that was Harbor Freight, and it was Harbor Freight, not Icon or anything like that. It predated the existence of Icon, but it got used once and was bent. But that was Harbor Freight stuff. Will a stool walking platform work? Yes. Daniel, whatever works for you will work for you in a shop. If, you know, as long as it's not ghetto, dangerous, or something like that, a shop doesn't care how you get in under a hood. I mean, I kept a step stool in my bay for years. Just a little step from Home Depot. The one I had was literally from Home Depot because my other step broke, and I drove up to Home Depot that wasn't far from the shop and bought another step. But yeah, whatever you think will work for you. Like I said, I had a step stool. I'm 5'11". I'm not that short or anything, but there's times where you need to get to the back of an engine bay, even at 5'11", and you don't want to go next to the hood hinge. You want to go from the front, so you get on a step stool, reach back, and do what you need to do. So whatever works for you that's safe, use it. I'm not familiar with that code. But it doesn't look good for you. Best blackout. You 4140 common problems and they got transmission torn apart. That doesn't look good. F Bobby, what's going on? So yeah, might not be a good thing for you, blackout. But I'm not familiar with that code, so I really don't have any good suggestions on that one. Daniel BC, explain the different types of socket wrenches. I'm trying to give you explain the different type of socket wrenches. Oh, I don't speak. I don't speak transmission name codes on Lexus. I mean, honestly, they don't have many problems. Make sure it's got the right amount of fluid in it. A lot of times after a cooler line leak, you got to fill it up a couple times to get it full, because it can spray out a lot, especially if it was running. But I would try first verifying that fluid level is correct. Other than that, I don't. I mean, that sounds like transmission damage if fluid level is good. Samuel, inexperienced with extreme toolboxes. Plan to upgrade from my small Snap-on Heritage set. They are... I've only touched one. And one. And it was used. It did not seem to be anything special. Not saying that's a bad thing, not saying that's a good thing. It seemed like a Chinese toolbox. You know, it seemed like equivalent to a Husky, Harbor Freight. It's, not saying bad things. It didn't impress me in any way, shape, or form. They do have some really big boxes, and that was not one of them. Again, I've only touched one. A lot of people swear by them. I've only seen the one in person. It was a trade-in on a tool truck. It was a pretty narrow one, and it was definitely not a 30-inch box. It was a 22, I believe. It was kind of the standard Chinese depth toolbox. So that's the extent of my knowledge on the toolbox. Daniel BC, I got a question. If I have talked to the dealerships a lot and had a lot of conversations with them, would they help me get a job? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, depends on what kind of interactions you had for them. They might give you a reference. They might not. I don't know. That's a little out of my psychic abilities. You know. Best blackout videos. My diagnostic skills on transmissions are limited. I've never really gotten deep into transmissions. I've replaced valve bodies, rebuilt one in school. Usually when you've got slippage, it usually involves either pressures not being right, which means testing your pressures. It's not looking good. I mean, usually when you've got slippage, you've got either apply pressure's not high enough, or you've got blockage, or a valve's not physically actuating, which can be caused by debris. But I'm not going to be recommending anything on that one because I've never torn that transmission apart, have no intimate knowledge of it. So F Bobby Extremes seems to do the thing most companies do in build and width instead of depth. I believe they do have 30-inch depth toolboxes, Bobby. I believe. Yeah, Bobby, they've got them in 30-inch, 31-inch deep. So they do have them deep, but I mean, this example, it kind of looks kind of meh. But it holds tools. If it works for you, it works for you. Yeah, maybe a valve body solenoid. But again, I'm not super familiar with that transmission. So even if, I'd seriously be looking at a valve body issue generally, um, you know, but I'm not familiar with that transmission. So, Justin, yeah, the both boxes are in the same place. Um, Daniel working at autocorrect. Would it help me to get a job working at a dealership if I wanted to work at a certain dealership? Talk to the dealership. I mean, that's the best advice I can give you. Talk to the service manager. Say you really want to work there. Show them why you want to work there. Um, I mean, it's talk to them, Daniel. I mean, that's the best thing I can do. Best Black Guy, I'm working as a lube and tire tech for 3 years, getting 15 an hour. My skill level has increased since then. I have 20K in tools. What do you think my next step should be? You need to get on the line. You need to move up from lube to repairs. Doing more complex repairs. I don't know where you work right now, whether that's an option or it's just a tire and lube shop, but you need to move up to the next point of your career. Is start wrenching on stuff more than footing filters and changing oil and doing tires. That's going to be your best next move. Is if you have to change jobs, you have to change jobs. If you want to increase your skills even more, definitely going to have to change jobs. F Bobby, yeah, I didn't until a couple years ago. I didn't know they had boxes that deep either. Um, yeah, but it was years ago. I mean, it was one of those they what? They did it before Harbor Freight had the Icon toolbox. Yeah, no, I mean, F. Bobby says I can make a Harbor Freight 5-drawer cart hold a lot of tools. It's about how you organize it. Yeah, exactly. Organization in a roll cart and making sure you maximize the use of that space, i.e., tools you use often. One of the biggest pet peeves of mine was you'd see techs with, pressure tester, coolant pressure testers, adapters. It's just wasted space in that cart that you could use for something that you will use every day. And because I've always preached that, Bobby knows. Bobby's been watching my channel for a very long time. Uh, Slinky Ant, I'm looking into getting into auto repair, auto mechanic field, and wondering if taking classes at the community college would be a good option, or should I just take a job at a shop that will train me on the job? If you can find a shop that will train you on the job, go do that. You get basically paid to train, and if you're diligent and watch Scanner Danner, watch YouTubers like Oz, you can learn a lot of stuff that you're really never going to learn in school because they're just going to teach you theory. But yeah, if you can get a shop to hire you, just go work at a shop. I mean, it's just such a better option to get out there and start making money. Because once you start making money in this industry, it's relatively easy to get more training, move up. I mean, sitting in college, um, it doesn't pay the bills. Working in a shop will at least pay your bills a little bit. Hopefully, they pay you enough. John Haddon, live in South Georgia, inside room here. Rear view mirror keeps falling off. 89 S10. Had to reglue it once a year. Use Permatex kit. John, one, make sure both surfaces are really clean. Use a razor blade. And then try to find the newest windshield glue kit you can find. They sit on the shelf a lot and they go bad. Trust me. We bought out one store's entire stock of the stuff to put one mirror on because it literally wouldn't hold it on the mirror on the window. It was so degraded. But yeah, it comes down to the glue has gone off. And it's nowadays such a niche product. You know, how many people, reglue their rear view mirror on their windshield? It's pretty rare that that's how they're attached anymore. Best blackout videos. I have a Blue Point 5-drawer tool cart with tool grid organization under the door, side cabinet on the left filled with power and special tools, and a side drawer on both. U.S. General. Great setup, man. Yeah, now I feel old, LOL. Oh, you shouldn't be in my shoes, Bobby. I am old. Nitrous, new job's going great. Jeremy Hammerly, ASE certified. Worth it? I think yes and no. Yes, it shows dedication to this industry. It shows you have knowledge. A lot of shops either require it or pay more for it if you have it. Some shops, not all. Like Toyota requires ASE certification, so it's definitely worth it if you work at a Toyota dealer. Is it a perfect system? No. But it does show your dedication to the industry, and a lot of shops appreciate that. It can help you get hired. So in a lot of ways, it's definitely worth it. Does it prove you can fix cars? No. It shows you can, are good at taking tests and can figure out how ASE words their questions. But it shows dedication to the industry. JWC Tech, did you see where Milwaukee is finally releasing a pack-out wrench set? No, I didn't really pay attention to that. I'm not much into the whole pack-out thing. I know a lot of people are really excited about it, but I don't see the post on it, but 28. Yeah, I bet that would be cool for going to the junkyard, but no, I didn't see it. I really, honestly, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the pack out stuff. It has limited use for me. I mean, it's a really cool tool system, container system, and there's lots of great applications for it. Automotive, less so, in my opinion. Junkyard would be cool for that. Justin, definitely doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to not have them unless you work at organizations that require it. Timothy, sorry you missed start of the screen. Real excited for the Insider. I had one of their old brush ratchets. it would be a great option as a high speed that's both 1/4 inch and 3/8. Yeah, yeah, and it is. It comes with, if you buy the kit, it comes with that. MT, thanks. Bobby encouraging Blackout to do a tour video. Daniel BC, have you ever had a customer that basically tried to restore their vehicle to fix everything? What was the biggest ticket you got? Biggest ticket I've gotten was, I want to say 12,000. It's not the biggest ticket I've seen. A brand new 6.4 diesel costs more than that. I didn't do that job, so I've had customers that want to spend buttloads of money on cars. I mean, you know, it's like I've had customers like everything you suggested, they approve, and it's like $6,000-7,000 on a $4,000 car. But yeah, I believe the largest ticket I've got was 12,000. Yeah, Silky. Yeah, the pack out is made more for HVAC, plumbing, electricians, uh, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I really don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. It just doesn't apply to our industry. Um, Extra mile tools. Yeah, Google's not listening to me at all, considering I typed in extra M and it auto pulled up extra mile tools. Uh, no, I've never checked them out. Uh, I mean, their store is a long way away from me in Dawsonville. But no, I've never heard them. Okay. But, you know, not familiar with Extra Mile. Nothing's coming up on their store. So anyway. Yeah, I mean that'd be a little far away from me. Interesting, JWC Tech. That is interesting. Good to know. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Cool. No, that's cool. Fine. JHAN 1000. You can get M18 5.0 batteries for like $75. Well, that's awesome. Um, cool. So if anybody's near Dawsonville and you need Milwaukee batteries, go to Extra Mile Tools. Silky Ant, that one back there is a talking about my asking about my PC setup. That one is a AMD 3950X, Asus motherboard, MSI 3080, triple monitors. That's my editing PC. I am streaming on a different PC that one is that one is the CPU is water cooled. The PC I am currently streaming on is a 79 AMD 7900 CPU, MSI motherboard, 32 gigs of DDR5. That one has 64 gigs of DDR4. This one has a 4080 in it, and this one is fully water cooled with two 360 radiators, Lee Unifans, EK water block on the CPU, EK pump and res, and a Corsair water block for the CPU or for the GPU. And I've got 3 servers over there. Got a little bit of PC hardware in here. Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3 Windows PCs in here. I've got an Unraid server. I've got a Proxmox server. I've got a TrueNAS Scale server. So I got a little bit of computing power in here. Brian, what's going on? Yeah, F Bobby, way to do. He says to Blackout, that's the way to do it. Come up with a setup that works for you and rock it. Doesn't matter if it's Snap-on, Harbor Freight, Craftsman, Cobalt. As long as it holds up, it's good in my book. Yep, pretty much. If it works for you, great. Yeah, JWC Tech. I have seen the new ratchets. They look horrendous. That's all I'm going to say on that. They don't look good. Daniel BC Tech, do you remember the 8.1 Chevrolet V8? Yes, I do. Almost bought one. They were really not good on gas, but they had a good bit of torque. Juan, where is Lubergoober? Lubergoober will be making an appearance very soon, so keep tuned for that. But he will be. He will be making an appearance on the channel very soon. Brian McFarland, are you using OBS Studio? Yes. Yeah, I'm using OBS. He's having problems with OBS Studio stuttering, delaying video compared to the camera source. What kind of camera? What's the source? Is it a webcam? Is it a capture card? Nick Mayo, did you find a new gig? Yes, I found a new gig. You know, without knowing what the source is, because it could be like I run a Sony A6600 through an Elgato 4K capture card. Um, you could have issues with the capture card. You could have issues with USB. There's especially if it's USB-C, you don't have a good USB-C communication cable, it could be that problem. Actually was talking to a representative from OBS Studios last night, because I don't know if anybody here was in the studio or in the studio was on the live stream when I first got my internet fixed, and the stream just dropped out like an hour and 15 minutes in, and you know, everybody was thinking it was my internet again. It was not. It was an OBS problem. But all my problems before that was my internet. This was OBS. I was using AV1 encoding, and internet showed good. My CPU usage, my GPU usage, the report that OBS gives you, in the little report tab, showed everything was great except the output from OBS to YouTube was almost zero. And the representative said that it was they'd never heard of it, and then he came back and said they had some bugs and it should have been fixed. It was a while ago. I haven't used AV1 encoding since because it was still in beta, which got the conversation started. F Bobby. Remember the 8.1? Oh man, now I feel old. I was working on those when they were new. F Bobby, I predate the 8.1s, okay? I remember when throttle body injection was new. Yeah, no, I mean, I JWC Tech, yeah, I mean, I didn't think there were, you know, I was trying to see if I could find an image of it, but doesn't look like anything's coming up on Google for those new ratchets. MTOBS is Open Broadcaster Software. A lot of YouTubers use it. It's an open source software that you can download for free. It allows you to broadcast onto YouTube, Twitch, anywhere really you need to broadcast to. It's just a open source software. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to I didn't talk to the engineering guys this time on the batteries, so can't tell you what's coming up or anything like that, or even if they would tell me. But F Bobby, GM throttle bodies have never been anything to write home about, especially when they went to throttle by wire. Yeah, no, I mean, I know they weren't, but they were new for me. So Brian McFarland, Sony cameras going into Pro Presenter. Okay. On a computer, feeding several HDMI outputs, one HDMI going to a. Yeah, see, I would seriously look at. I mean, is it only on you? If it's only on OBS, I would seriously look at that USB 3 cable, simply because of the bandwidth that requires. Camera feeds going to OBS, you got to make sure you have enough bandwidth in the cable. That'd be the first thing. I would make sure you get a high bandwidth USB cable to make sure that that's not the connection point problem, because that will cause stuttering. Because remember, that is a communication cable, so it's got to send all the signal to that computer. Nick Mayo, I'll be training in Alpharetta next week or next month. You're in the Atlanta area, right? Know of any good places to eat around there? Let me see real quick. Don't go, I don't go to Alpharetta much. More Buckhead. But I'm looking for you, see if I've been to any of these places. Oh, I will give you a absolutely to die place on the Alpharetta Square. And that is Ceviche Taqueria in at the Alpharetta Square. Uh, excellent, excellent barbacoa. Really, really good barbacoa there at Ceviche. There is, see if it comes up. Oh, I was actually there last weekend. You can also go to the food terminal. There's a bunch of restaurants in there. That's not Alpharetta. So yeah, ceviche. No problem, Brian. Yeah, it's a complicated setup you've got, but yeah, that definitely, if you're dropping the FPS down to 25 and it clears it up, that's definitely sounds like a USB cable. F Bobby, the quad steer trucks. Yeah, my buddy had one. It was interesting. Yeah, surprising how many quad steering vehicles I've worked on. MT question: do you run Windows 11 on your systems? Nope, Windows 10 still. Uh, my daughter has Windows 11 on her laptop. Everybody else is still Windows 10. I I used to use my old gaming rig as a render server, and so I'd send the finished edits into the render queue, and it would render on the PC that was here that's not here anymore. You had to have the same operating system and the same type of video card, so NVIDIA or both AMD, and it would render automatically. And I intend, maybe, probably, set this one back up as my render server, because I can set it off. I don't have to worry about waiting for my PC to render a video. I can just go on to doing thumbnails, etc., etc. Go on to edit the next video because it's being rendered on a different machine. But yeah, I'm still on Windows 10. Variable Venturi carburetor and Chrysler lean burn. I dealt with that. Not quite that old. Yeah, F Bobby. I know you got an F Bobby. I know you got an F car in your driveway. Brian McFarland. Anybody have any good, bad history with being a mechanic at CarMax? Got a friend looking to start as a CarMax mechanic. It's a very, very corporate structure. The job, I don't think the person I knew that worked there had any actual problems with the job, but he violated some weird corporate rule, and I don't remember what it was, and lost his job. And literally, management could do nothing about it. It was, sorry, you violated this policy. We have to let you go. That was the only major drawback he had with CarMax, because it was like, you broke a rule that doesn't really make sense, but because corporate, we got to let you go. Have you seen the new tools Astro just announced? Gen 2 Thor in 3/4 and a half inch. I think didn't Erico do a video about them, or at least did a post about them? And their version of power sockets. No, I haven't seen the power sockets, but F Bobby, they need to make their nano sockets available to buy individually. Yes, I've broken one of their sockets, and like I couldn't get it individually replaced. Nick Mayo, remember the Prelude? Yes. Robbie Santos, why did you trim the beard? Actually, I cut it completely off. Um, my wife was in Texas for 3 weeks. I only shaved because of my wife. My wife came home, so the beard got shaved. I only shave a couple times a week, and so I forgot to shave last night. Because of my changed schedule with filming, because I don't stay at the shop on Thursday nights. My schedule to shave on Wednesday nights just kind of, I forget. So I'll be shaving tonight. But anyway, that's why I don't have, that's why the beard went away. My wife came home on very late Friday night. By very late, she drove all the way from San Antonio, Texas, home. So she had a very long day. So yeah, that's why no beard, Robbie. Was the best Honda ever made? Yeah, no. Timothy Newman, that's classy. You can try calling their support. Had a good experience with them when I messed up a friction ring. Um, yeah, I mean their support's usually really good, but their media department is less so. You know, Astro sent me some stuff, and last I heard from them, never got anything else from them. But they'll send Erico anything he wants, which is fine. He's a big YouTuber. I'm a lot smaller, but Silky and how much will I be expected to know becoming a first year mechanic? What am I expected to know and do? As a first year technician, you'll be needing to change oil filters, air filters, cabin air filters, maybe do brakes, maybe do tires, a lot of basic stuff. It's going to be a lot of oil changes, tire rotations, stuff like that. Nothing real major. You know, maybe you might do a belt or something like that, but it's pretty basic. Daniel, I never knew dealerships have had politics. Oh God, yes. That's probably one of the worst stereotype of dealerships is the automotive repair part of it has massive politics as a stereotype. Not every dealer, but a lot of them have very bad politics. You know, it is what it is, but yeah, no, it exists in dealerships. Nick Mayo, small or not, you're the reason for my Milwaukee switch from pneumatic. I appreciate that. I do. I'm not complaining or anything like that. I'm Erico is not a tool reviewer. I have every Friday I review tools, and you know they ignore me because I'm not a massive YouTuber. Personal, I mean it's like Vim. I've talked about Vim for literally as long as my channel has existed, and I'll tell a story. I got a message from them on Instagram. Tools are excellent. Vim's tools are excellent. Don't think that. But I got a message from them, and they were like, "Yeah, we're doing this giveaway on Instagram. So if you could post a video, go watch Kuhn Trucking's video on how to do your own video on doing the giveaway, and we might send you some tools." It's like, what? You want me to watch another YouTuber's video on how your giveaway works, so maybe you might send me tools? And the video had already been live for like a week. And so I was like, no, not doing that. I know Clay Kuhn. Nothing against Clay, but no, not copying another YouTuber's video to maybe get $30 worth of tools. Because let's be honest, Vim's tools are not real expensive. That's one of the reasons why I talk about them so much, is they're very affordable and very good. But it was like, you want me to do what? That no. So never heard back from them. But yeah, I mean that's I it is what it is, but it's like, you want me to just, it's just stupid. I mean, but yeah, so that's why I'm not sponsored by Vim. Astro sent me some stuff, but then they kind of ghosted me. OTC, since we're, full disclosure, I don't know who their media contact is anymore. They contacted me when the Matco ball joint kit came out, and I got contacted by a rep agency and somebody that works for OTC, and they both wanted to send me the tools, and I'm like, okay, I've already got a tool coming from these people. And then, so that's why I don't get tools from them anymore, is because I don't know who to contact to ask for stuff. So anyway, it's a long way to say, some companies don't understand social media, other companies do. But I mean, it's not complaining about it. I'm very privileged as a tool snob to be able to play with a bunch of tools. So, or not a tool snob, but a tool junkie, that I get to play with a lot of different tools, which is very cool. So just, it's just the business of YouTube is either I buy it or I get it sent to me. So if I want to review a tool, it's one of those two. And certain companies just don't want to send it to a small YouTuber. So anyway. F Bobby. Politics means more than Dem versus conservative. In the dealership microcosm, there are people they have to play nice with, or you get shorted on work, or you get crap work constantly. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I mean, it's not, it's whose butt do you got to kiss. You'll have favoritism like crazy going on. Where the whoever assigns works, Buddy needs work, so he gets all the gravy, he gets all the flushes, all the gravy recalls, and you get the stupid recall that pays 0.2 and you get all of them because it takes 0.5 to do them or whatever. So yeah, politics in a dealership is not a fun thing to deal with. All right, so we got any questions about the new Milwaukee stuff, or do we have any other tool related questions? Daniel, yeah, I mean, it's not competition so much as favoritism is so easy to have happen in the flat rate system in general, that it's easy for people of authority to manipulate the system to help their buddies out. So yeah, Bobby, yeah, it looks really cool. Definitely looking forward to that one. Robert Alexander, appreciate it because you look like you're having fun and relaxed. I am. I'm having fun and I'm relaxed. Timothy Newman. I recently found out that I'm located pretty close to Koken USA headquarters recently. It's kind of cool. I recently got myself some nut grip sockets that I really enjoy. Koken makes some good stuff. Koken definitely makes some good stuff. Nick Mayo, Cornwall has a promo for the M18 Sawzall. Is it decent? It's great. It compared to my 20 plus year old DeWalt Sawzall or whatever, whatever they call it. It had more power comparing a almost, literally one that was letting smoke out. But before that, it has more power than that. It works great. I definitely would highly recommend it for any of your Sawzall needs. Definitely for cutting, control arm bolts and all that. Works great. JWC, the new torque sensing feature on the new mid torque and compact impacts looks pretty cool. Yeah, it does. It was kind of in a weird category though, because it wasn't in automotive, it was in electrical. Yeah, because it's under electrical and power utilities. So chances are they're probably not sending that to automotive YouTubers. Same reason we never got the digital rundown torque wrench thing is it was for electronics. So we'll see if that comes to the automotive end of it. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Brian McFarland, hey, flat rate, is it hard to resist buying a new tool if you already have the previous version, or are you more of a, if I already have a tool that works, then I stick with it? It really, really depends on what the tool is. Chances are, if it's a hardline tool, probably not replacing it. If it's a upgraded model with more power, like the Milwaukee stuff, I'd be very inclined to replace it or upgrade it. You know, it's something that it's a case by case basis for me. There's no general hard or fast rule for any of it. It's for me, and I'm definitely in a different place than a lot of my audience, because I might buy a tool for literal only for content. I think it'll make a good video that you all find compelling and be interested in the tool. In another video, so that there's other factors for me when it comes to buying a tool. And the new Whiz Bang is something that I have to consider. But on the other side of it, if it's, like, like, I'll be honest, these tools, I don't know if I would run out and buy them. Not saying they're not good, but I have tools that do this exact thing, and unless I felt that I needed something better, like these would be something I might upgrade to. Simply because the Matco ones I have are meh. The grips are kind of falling off. They bend easy. So that would be something I would upgrade to. Whereas these, I've got Snap-on and Mac, and those I'm very happy with. So I wouldn't upgrade those tools, but I would upgrade those. Just kind of depends. The new Lisle pocket pry bar. Haven't seen that. Oh. um, yeah, I've got the Matco ones. Um, actually, really, the version of that is, I don't know if Lisle makes them for them or not, but I've got the Matco ones. I literally never used them. I just used a regular pocket pry bar. JWC Tech, the resale value of Milwaukee tools is so good. It's pretty easy to upgrade every new model without spending too much money. In my experience, especially if you keep your tools pretty clean. Y'all know I don't keep my tools that clean. Daniel, I don't know exactly what you mean on that one. Chances are, if a screw had yellow paint on it, it was from the factory. Or somebody else that marked it. So either from a rebuild or from the factory. Well, that one is actually a vacuum tube. It's an old GM. Looks like a 3.8. Bobby, you should recognize that one. Yes, it has spark plugs. That might be. I can't see. It's got to be a newer GM. The 3.5 or something. But because they're in Wisconsin, so they're not working on newer, cleaner stuff. Yeah, I think that's the one I looked at. Those pocket pry bars got a magnet on it. I don't know if they. Oh, that one right there. Yeah, that is a Chungus. I haven't seen that one. The heck would you use that for? Well, that is interesting. Samuel, any advice on buying a new toolbox? Looking to be 70 inches or wider. So 72 inches, would like 30-inch depth. On that size, you're looking at the tool trucks, new or used, Icon, the Extreme line, and what's going on, Joe Mama? And one other Chinese rebranded toolbox, Icon, that kind of stuff. So your choices on that size, that depth, is going to be limited to those choices. So my recommendation is obviously pick the box that's going to meet your budget. It's a box for tools, so don't go stupid on it. Find the one with the drawer setup that works for you. One of the worst mistakes you can do is buy a box with a bunch of little small drawers that you can't use for anything, and you throw a couple screwdrivers in there, and it's just an empty drawer that you really can't use. Find the drawer layout that works best for you. Just picked up the Cornwall mini pry bars made by Mayhew. Straight cap mini pry bar. Break every connector you come across. Yeah, pretty much. It looked beefy though. It does look beefy. Yeah, used boxes, you can get them from your tool dealer. The biggest issue, Joe Mama, from Craigslist is it has to be paid off. If let's say you go move it into a shop and you go to order drawer slides for it from the dealer or accessories or whatever, and he gets the serial number off of it and it comes up as being owed on, he's required to repo it if it's not paid off. It's technically stolen property. So Craigslist is great, except when it comes to dealing with that. You can run into, and I know a bunch of tool dealers. They have had to repo boxes from, I bought it on Craigslist. Here's my receipt. Doesn't matter. Snap-on corporate, Matco corporate, they have a lien on this toolbox. I have to repossess it. So Craigslist is problematic for that.
All right.
All right. Well, we've hit the hour and a half mark, so I'm going to go ahead and call it, and I'd keep them drawers lighter. I'm going to go ahead and, go smoke a cigar. So we appreciate everybody stopping by for the live stream. Okay, JWC, good to know. There's regional toolbox dealers that are on Marketplace that sell legit boxes. Jay Snyder, First State Tools, who guarantee legit boxes on Marketplace, just a heads up. And my dealer, they provide the boxes. We all have the same one. Great for a starting tech like me. Brian, have a good weekend. F. Bobby, have a great night. I'm sure I'll see you on Facebook at some point next little bit, Bobby. i.e., I'm friends with him on Facebook. Nick, have a good one. Appreciate everybody stopping by. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.